Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And of course, very happy to actually always support GTI through Globe Telecom. Thank you, Greg.
Thank you. Carl, you have a most interesting background. Long-time Unilever, which I think most people know is a big global organization that has lots and lots of consumer products. So I'll be interested to hear your perspective from a consumer standpoint. You were with my old company, Airtel, in Nigeria, running Nigeria as the CEO. And now you're sliding into this new position with a really innovative company in a country that has led in many aspects of our mobile technology industry. How are you integrating yourself and sliding in? I'm going to start with an easy question of how you're moving into that position.
Well, I've always wanted to become part of the industry because I see, telecoms as the intersection of both technology and FMCG, which is where I spent a considerable amount, 30.8 years exact of my corporate career. So it's been a long time coming for me personally, and really happy to be a big part of what I would term as a new economy industry, and really an industry that has a massive and almost immediate impact into the lives of customers we serve globally, but more importantly back home in the Philippines, Craig.
Philippines, for those who don't know, is a very large country. It's well over, I think, 110 million.
About 115, 120 right now.
Growing.
Yeah, so
okay.
It's massive.
And as the largest operator and the most innovative operator, you're going to take on quite a challenge. Help the audience understand, Globe has 5G in the country, but it has not been a priority yet for the company, and you'll correct me if I'm wrong on that. That is what your predecessor had talked about. But there is an interest in AI and other innovative things. Could you either clarify what I just said is either right or wrong, and then talk a little bit about the AI and innovation of the company?
All right. I think from a 5G perspective, its importance in the Philippines and, of course, in the lives of the consumers in the country is actually increasing. We now see penetration slightly above 15% compared to less than 1% where I came from in Nigeria. So it is indeed now a priority at this point in time for us, and it's something that, moving on to the AI space, Craig, we've used quite a lot of AI to, in a way, predict demand for where we should really extend and invest in network capabilities related to 5G. So it is a priority at this point in time. We are looking at the 4G, 5G migration, and of course, obviously, a number of use cases related to that.
So I interpret that to mean we can see more effort into 5G advanced or 5G?
Both.
Both.
Both, because in certain parts of the archipelago, so the Philippines would have 3 main islands, 7,100 islands, more or less, depending on high tide, low tide. But in certain parts of the country, there are clear markets where penetration is way above 15%. And this is where we now have to be very deliberate in a way in terms of how we will maximize leverage, extend the network and its capabilities.
How does a company like yours integrate AI? Do you have this sense that AI is important from a network optimization standpoint? Is AI driving new revenues? Can you go through the different categories as you see?
So right now we have a firm view. I think we're one of the very first mobile operators, probably in the region and global, where we have appointed a chief AI officer. So that signals a very deliberate, strong point of view regarding AI. As you said a while back, we are leaders in the Philippines, and we intend to be in that particular driving space where we will not only lead the mobile space, but more importantly, be thought leaders, both in AI adoption. And currently, right now, AI is permeating across a number of touch points in the organization. It's not only led by one team, but really a massive cross-functional team and really supported by some of our partners like Google.
Is there hope that AI at Globe will actually be producing more revenues as opposed to becoming more of an efficiency tool?
Both. But of course, it's a large organization. We have about 8,000 employees. We have to continuously make sure that we're keeping things simple, really, from an operational perspective, and also from the touch points where our customers engage the network. So that's the first phase. Second phase, obviously, and in parallel, because you can't really move sequentially in this one, is where we really hope that we can leverage AI, the technology, for additional revenue streams.
How do you develop your AI strategies with your network and for your customers? Are you inspired by the vendors? Are you inspired by China Mobile or other operators around? You have a relationship with Singtel.
Correct.
And Bharti Airtel is part of that, and Telkomsel. There's a number of operators. How do you learn from them?
So our eyes and ears are always looking for best practices, certain approaches that potentially will work for the Philippine market. You're right, we are a big part of the Singtel group. Having myself been part of the Airtel group in Africa, we will continuously look for best practices related to AI in this space. But we're not waiting. We're not biding our time. As I said, we are always the innovators in the Philippine market. And in this space, we will continue to be thought leaders in AI.
As you enter this new job, you're supposedly controlling the destiny of this big ship. What are one or two of your priorities for the company as well as the country in your very prestigious position?
Well, I think, Globe Telecom has been invested, and we will continue to be heavily invested in the digital future of the Philippines. I think that's a point that needs to be made. We will continue to, expand our network, drive, financial economic inclusion, in the hope that we will always continue to create opportunities for the Filipino people through, obviously, technology and innovation. So having said that, investments will continue in network expansion. We will make sure that every opportunity or approach is looked into with regards to economic inclusion. We're looking at a number of spaces in this particular play, looking at diversity, looking at several product offerings, care of our fintech company, Mint and GCash. Plus, of course, making sure that the trust remains in the industry, Craig, because I think in some of the sessions in the MWC, we did hear about fraud and online scams coming into play. And even in the Philippines, it is actually in an increasing trend. We need to protect the trust. And again, in this space, we have been taking big, bold steps. For example, we do not at all release any P2P message which contains a link. So we have been, in a way, Anton would say it, my CAIO, a barbaric approach, but potentially it's needed at this point in time simply because we need to maintain the trust, which is the license to operate in the Philippines.
Last question is, I think your company takes great pride in giving back to the country. Connectivity is a big priority for the President of the Philippines. Might you talk a moment about your commitment as a company to providing services?
So we're very much committed. We are a member of the PSAC, Private Sector Advisory Council, and we are working both with the private and public sector groups to make sure that, in far-flung areas, geographically isolated areas of the Philippines, we are providing connectivity. And this is not only Globe. This goes the same with Smart and with Dito, key players in the industry, and we aim to continue to lead in that space. In fact, Ernest is a big member of that particular group, and that will really continue, Craig.
Well, I want to thank you. We put you on the spot. You haven't taken over as CEO yet, so I didn't want to ask you the most strenuous questions, but you were obviously ready for the challenge, and we appreciate you coming today, and we hope that Globe will continue and increase its involvement, not only with GSMA, but with GTI. So thank you very much.
You can clearly count on that. Thank you, Craig.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
you.